Nehemiah is one book of the Bible telling his entire story of how he built the wall that was broken down. Okay, so bigyan ko lang kayo ng quick overview sa buhay ni Nehemiah. Si Nehemiah, yung time na siya ay successful, siya ay may kakayanan ng tumulong, doon naman yung time na may nagbalita sa kanya na ang wall ng kanilang bansa, wall of Jerusalem, was broken down. And Nehemiah had it in his heart na tumulong, gumawa ng something to build the wall. And during the lifetime of Nehemiah, nabuo yung wall, but it's not without strong opposition. May mga pumalaban kay Nehemiah. May Sanballat at Tobiah na character sa buhay ni Nehemiah. And hindi ko may kakwento yung buong storya, but what I want you to have today is this curiosity. Ano nga ba nangyari kay Nehemiah? At hopefully maging curious enough kayo para basahin nyo on your own. That's 13 chapters in the Bible at hindi ko may kakwento sa inyo ng buo, and I would not be able to give justice to the beauty of the story kung ikakwento ko lang saglit sa inyo. It's a journey that you should take while you read your Bible. Study the book of Nehemiah. Magugulat kayo kung gaano ka makapangyarihan ang ginawa ng Diyos sa kanya. But ibubuod ko lang sa inyo sa net for the sake of our discussion. Nehemiah led the construction of the wall that had been broken down for around 140 years. 140 years na yung wall nila ay wasak. And there was strong opposition to the work of Nehemiah, but still, Nehemiah was able to complete it in 52 days. 52 days na buo ni Nehemiah yung 140 years na broken down. Okay, so, basically, naging tagumpay yung mission, yung buhay ni Nehemiah. But, what I want to focus on today is the first part of the story. Basahin natin yung Nehemiah chapter 1, verses 1 hanggang 4. Sabay-sabay natin basahin ng Nehemiah 1, verse 1 hanggang 4. Ready? Read. Diyan sa quick 4 verses na yan, apat na bagay yung pinakita sa atin. Number 1 is the introduction to the main character of the book, which is Nehemiah. And it was said that Nehemiah lived in a place called Shushan. Shushan. Yung Shushan, kumbaga sa Pilipinas, yan yung Maynila. Yan yung sentro ng kanilang bayan. And itong si Nehemiah, exile kasi siya. Ibig sabihin ng exile ay isang dayuhan. Naging dayuhan siya dahil nawala siya sa kanyang sariling bayan. Kasi Hudyo siya, Israelita siya, pero nasakop sila ng Persian Empire. Ngayon, ang sentro ng Persian Empire is the Shushan. So, nasa citadel si Nehemiah, nandun siya sa gitnang bayan. Nandun siya sa maunlad na bayan. Yet, even though he was far from home, his concern extended to his people. Kahit pa malayo siya physically sa Jerusalem, yung puso niya nandun pa rin sa kanyang inang bayan. Diba? May ganun ba kayong lugar na probinsya na bagamat nandito ka sa medyo syudad nating lugar, may probinsya ka na malapit sa puso mo. Na yun yung lugar na kung saan, balang araw gusto mong gusto mong manatili doon at nandun yung iyong puso. Pero si Nehemiah, bagamat nasa Shushan siya, makikita natin yung concern niya to the people of Jerusalem. The people of Judah, of his hometown. That's why nagtanong siya mismo yung nagtanong, anong balita? Anong balita doon sa ating bayan? Kamusta sila? Okay. At doon na binigay sa kanya yung bad news. The bad news is that the remnant in the province, this is verse 3, the remnant there in the province who had survived is in great trouble and shame. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down. So, pinakita at sinabi sa kanya, kay Nehemiah, yung kalagayan ng mga tao sa Jerusalem, na sila ay living in trouble and in shame because its walls is broken down and its gates were destroyed by fire. So, that's the bad news. And then the response of Nehemiah was, in verse 4, when he heard these words, he sat down and wept, and mourned certain days, and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Even though Nehemiah was not directly affected by this tragedy na meron ng mga taga-Jerusalem, still, yung concern niya sa mga taong to, makikita mo, in a way na totoo yung emosyon na naramdaman niya where he wept, he sat down and wept and mourned for these people who are living in these circumstances. Kaya naman nais ni Nehemiah to do something about it. Ngayong araw na to, I want you to hear and understand the heart that Nehemiah had. Anong klaseng puso ba yung meron si Nehemiah? Because it's the heart of Nehemiah that dictates how he dealt with trouble, how he dealt with pain, how he dealt with persecution, and how he succeeded in life. Maraming bagay matutunan tayo kay Nehemiah. Dahil katulad ni Nehemiah, dadaan ka sa pagsubok ng buhay. Dadating ang mga tao mag-o-oppose sa pangarap mo. Darating yung time na mahihirapan ka. But in the life of Nehemiah, you will see how strong he became because of how he reacted. Kung paano yung mindset at ano yung pananaw niya sa mga bagay-bagay. And in the first chapter of the book of Nehemiah, pinakita sa atin kung ano yung puso na meron si Nehemiah. Number 1 is that Nehemiah saw the problem. Diba? Bagamat hindi niya nakita physically, nabalita sa kanya. And because of the problem, it caused him pain. One thing I want you to understand as young people is that hindi lagi masaya buhay. It's not always rainbows and butterflies, sabi nga naman tayo, diba? Hindi laging masaya lang, hindi laging happy lang, hindi laging pa-basketball lang o pa-ML lang ang buhay. Ang buhay may pain, ang buhay may suffering na pinagdadaanan. And one good thing about Nehemiah is that even though he's living a comfortable life, nasa palasyo siya. Si Nehemiah is i-reveal mamaya na siya ay cupbearer to the king. Nasa marangyang kalagayan si Nehemiah. Komportable ang higaan, nasa yung walls ng kanyang bayan ay maayos. In fact, during this time, yung kalagayan ni Nehemiah ay kabaliktaran ng kalagayan ng tao sa Jerusalem. Kasi nasa sentro siya ng pinakamalakas na bayan during that time. While Jerusalem was exiled and sila yung sinakop ng Persian Empire. Yet still, why did Nehemiah sat down, wept, and mourned? Because that's the heart that Nehemiah had. Because it's in his identity na hindi naman siya Persian. Siya ay Israelita pa rin. And he was not blind to the problem of his people. Hindi siya nagbulag-bulagan sa problema ng iba. Hindi siya nagmaang-maangan sa trahedya na nandoon sa bayan niya. And the problem with us today is that we don't recognize the pain and we fail to see the problem. Nakakasanayan na lang natin. Lahat ng tao nakaka-encounter ng problem. Lahat tayo yung pinagdadaanan. But when problem appears, tatlong bagay yung ating naging response. Unang response natin kapag may problema is that ini-ignore lang natin. Okay lang yan, ganyan talaga ang buhay. Walang magagawa, yan talaga. It is what it is. But i-ignore lang natin and we just move on kung ano yung ginagawa natin. And it produces numbness sa puso natin na nakasanayan na natin kasi ganyan. Yan na yun. Minsan it becomes a generational curse. Si Lola hindi nakatapos, si Nanay hindi nakatapos, ako hindi rin ako makatapos. Si Lola mahirap, kami, tatay ko mahirap, kami mahirap, kasi mga ako maging mahirap natin. Yun na yun eh. Diba? Wala na, tanggapin na lang natin. Parang gano'n yung first response natin sa problema. We ignore it. Number 2 is that we're in denial about it. Na hindi totoo yan. But in reality, bagaman may mga blessing tayo natatanggap, still there are walls that are broken in our life, and we are not supposed to be in denial of the things that needs work. We're not supposed to be in denial of the walls that are broken down in our life. Hindi tayo dapat nagmamaang-angan. Hindi dapat tayo nagbubulag-bulaga sa mga problema. And the third response, which Nehemiah did, was concern. Diba? Hindi siya apektado nitong problema ko, ha? Pero naramdaman niya yung pain. Diba? He cried. It brought tears in his eyes. Probably he had sleepless nights about this. He prayed for it, he mourned for it, even though nandun siya sa magandang kalagayan ng buhay. Because of the pain of his people, ba, naramdaman niya rin yun. Nakiramay siya. Diba? At yung kasi yung dapat na response natin, if there are walls that are broken down in our life, we see it in reality. Nakikita natin ito for what it is, and it should brought us concern. And sometimes in your life, pain is good. There are times in your life that you're not supposed to be just living life as it is. Dapat merong nag-focus sa'yo ng pain kahit paano. In a sense na pag nakita mo yung kalagayan mo sa buhay, hindi mo nakasanayan na ganyan lang. Parang, wala, nakasanayan mo ng ganito eh. Diba? Yung problema lagi, yung walang kinabukasan, yung hindi nag-aaral, walang pangarap sa buhay, nakasanayan ka na ito eh. Diba? It should cause you pain na walang direksyon yung buhay mo. It should cause you pain na nananatili tayong mahirap. It should cause us pain na may walls that are broken down in our life. Because it shows concern. It shows na hindi ka bulag, hindi ka numb. Diba? At the same time, pain that is good will lead you to a purpose. Pain that is good will lead you to a purpose. The problem is, minsan naman ganito ang nangyayari. Nakikita nga natin, kakapag-focus nga ng pain sa atin yung buhay natin. Pero wala naman tayong ginagawa. Diba? Hindi naman tayo umaksyon, wala naman tayong ginagawa. But Nehemiah was not like that. He prayed and he prayed and he prayed until he made a plan. May ginawa si Nehemiah. And there are broken walls and baka sabihin mo sa'yo, wala namang broken walls sa buhay ko, Kuya Ken. Okay naman, okay. Masaya naman. Wala naman ako nakikitang problema. Wala naman ako dapat ipag-mourn. Wala naman ako dapat iyakan. But the Bible calls us to not ignore the poor, to be the voice of the voiceless, to carry each other's burden, and to see and make each other's need. Look around you. You're not just supposed to live for yourself. Ang buhay hindi lamang para sa sarili. Diba? Look at your family. Tingnan mo si nanay, tingnan mo si tatay. Tingnan mo yung simbahan nyo. Diba? There are walls that are broken down. There are things that need to be worked on. At ikaw, ikaw ang mimistulang Nehemiah sa buhay nyo, sa buhay ng pamilya nyo, sa inyong simbahan. Kayo yun. Kayo yung hindi magmamangmangan. Kayo yung hindi pa ba ito lang ba lagi? Diba? Kaya, we need to have the heart that Nehemiah had. Na hindi tayo papayag na ganito lang kalaki. Okay, so, the devil wants you to be entertained and sometimes even comfortable. Para makita mo lang yung sarili mo, at huwag kong makita at mapansin yung vision ng Diyos sa buhay mo. To live outside of yourself and see the needs and see the broken walls of other people's life. Diba? Kaya it's a dangerous thing to be just entertained on your own. ML ka lang, basketball ka lang, hindi masama yung mga bagay na yan. Nagawa ko naman yan. But that's not the purpose of life. If that is what keeping you from seeing the purpose that you have in Christ Jesus, that becomes bad. Nagiging masama yung mga bagay na yan. Because you're entertained so much by worldly things na hindi mo na nakikita yung purpose mo. Tingnan niyo si Nehemiah. Balikan niyo Nehemiah. Imagine the things that Nehemiah can enjoy. Mataas ang posisyon ni Nehemiah. Under lang siya ng hari. Ganun karamihan yung buhay ni Nehemiah. Lahat ng magagarang bagay, meron si Nehemiah during this time. Cupbearer siya, isa siya sa pinaka-pinagkakatiwalaan ng hari ng pinakamakapangyarihang bansa during this time. He could have been entertained with the riches of this world. He could have been comfortable, but yet, he decided to mourn. Na magkaroon ng hinagpis sa puso niya dahil yung mga kababayan niya ay nakakaranas ng trouble sa kanilang buhay. And yet tayo, the devil attacks us by being entertained and comfortable with how we live our life, that we fail to see the purpose of God. Because for Nehemiah, it's not just a simple wall. Hindi lang naman to simpleng bakod lang. It's something that is against who they are. For Nehemiah, anak kami ng Diyos. We are the chosen people of God. And yet our walls are broken now. And yet we pass through the gates that was burned with fire. Diba? Ito ba kami? Yun sa akin ni Nehemiah. And sometimes maganda lang tanongin din natin sa sarili natin yun. Na ito lang ba ako? Ganito lang ba talaga ako? Ba? And hopefully it costs you some pain in your heart that would call you to a purpose. Kasi mahalaga na nakikita natin na yung mga hindi dapat tayo, that the things that are against our identity should not stay as it is. Hindi dapat ganito lang. We're supposed to be better. We're supposed to be blessed. We're supposed to live a life that would glorify God. And yet, they live in shame. They probably look at other nations around them na may wall, na namumuhay ng walang danger, walang shame, and yet sila, that they proclaim that they are the people of God, their walls are broken down. So, hopefully, the pain that leads you to purpose, maramdaman mo at mamit mo. Okay, so Nehemiah was successful, comfortable, rich, and powerful. Yes, but yet his purpose was found in pain. When he sat down, wept, and mourned for days. So my message to you today is find a broken wall, build it. Nakatawa dito, meron kami isang member na bata, si Isabel, na nila Isabel. Alala ko Isabel, nagtanong siya sa nanay niya, pagkano ba yung TV? Sabi niya sa nanay niya, ano yung TV? Kasi daw, sabi niya, sa Sunday school room kasi namin, walang TV. Pero nakapilitan yung nanay niya mag-donate. Pero di ba, ang nakakatuwa na bata pa lang, they saw a broken wall. They decided to do something about it. Di ba? Pero minsan tayo, may edad na, parang, ilang taon na yung ganyan na. Ganyan lang talaga yan. At dumating ako dito, ganyan na yan ang alis ako. But Nehemiah was not like that. He felt the pain, he saw the shame, and he decided to do something about it. And one thing you will see in Nehemiah's life, it was, yung purpose niya is always driven by prayer. Pag binasa niyo ang buhay ni Nehemiah, hindi mo na kailangan i-remonstrate kung gaano kapanalangin ni Nehemiah. Kaya basahin yung buhay ni Nehemiah. If you want to be a wall builder, if you want to do something great with your life, read and study the life of Nehemiah, how he dealt with problems. Alam niyo ba, kwento ko lang, spoil ko lang kayo ng konti, hindi ko na kwento. May time na, nung nag-build si Nehemiah ng wall, may time na sobrang tindi ng opposition sa kanila, sobrang tindi ng gawa ng kalaban sa kanila, na wala na silang panahon magbalik ng damit. Sa kaliwang kamay nila, hawak nila yung pang-work ng wall. Sa kanang kamay nila, hawak nila yung pang-defense sa sarili nila dahil may death threat sa kanila. Na even pagligo, hindi na nila gawa. And you should have a dream. May pangarap dapat kayo na pagsusunugan nyo ng kilay that would keep you up at night sometimes. Hindi naman lagi kasi matiteko ka naman na pagka hindi ka na natulog. Pero meron ka dapat something na pinaglalaban mo eh. May something dapat na pangarap ka na hindi ka papakayag na hindi mo tumakuha. Diba? And that something is for you to see. And hopefully, makita po ninyo yung mga pangarap, yung mga broken walls sa inyong buhay. Ano? And the true foundation of this wall, kapag po binasa natin yung Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 1, pakita mo nga yan. Ano lang babasa? Nasabi niyan, it came to pass in the month of Nisan, the 20th year of the king. Yung ano po, yung time frame po ng Nehemiah 1, chapter 1, di nyo kasi ito mapapansin pag binasa nyo lang ano. Yung Nehemiah chapter 1 and Nehemiah chapter 2, yung time frame niya, ang pagitan niya ay 4 na buwan. Ano? So for 4 months, Nehemiah prayed, Nehemiah prepared, Nehemiah planned. Pinag-isipan tong project na to. Pinag-isipan tong pangarap na to. Hindi lang to bukso ng damdamin. Hindi lang ningas pugol na pangarap. Pero pinag-isipan to ni Nehemiah. At matagal na panahon niya itong ipinanalangin. Kaya naman, the foundation of the wall was built for 4 months because the real foundation of this wall was not physical things. It was the faith and the prayer of Nehemiah. Ang pundasyon ng bawat pangarap, panalangin. Ang pundasyon ng bawat pangarap mo sa buhay ay panalangin. Kaya ngayon pala, simulan niyo ng manalangin. May pinapanalangin pa kayo? May pangarap pa kayong iniluluhod at iniiyak sa Panginoon? Yan yung tunay na foundation of the wall. Kung papansinin niyo ako, bibilangin niyo, mas matagal pong nanalangin si Nehemiah kaysa sa nagbulang wall. Ilang araw siya nagbulang wall? 52. Ilang buwan siya nanalangin na kaganda? 4 months. Kasi mas matindi ang need natin for faith. And that faith caused him to act. This project was founded in tears and in prayer. Kaya naman tatandaan niyo, ito, I don't know if you read this, if you heard this advice before. Kapag Kristiyano ka, dapat ambisyoso ka. Kapag Kristiyano ka, dapat ambisyoso or ambisyoso ka. Igagawin ko sa inyo, spoil ko ulit kayo. Igagawin ko sa inyo kung gaano ambisyoso si Nehemiah. Sabi ni Nehemiah sa boss niya, "Boss, alis muna ako, bibig muna ako." Sabi sa kanya ng boss niya, "Ay, sige. Ilang araw mawawala? Mga 2 buwan." Dahil mabait si Nehemiah, si Nehemiah, sige. Boss, gusto ko tuloy yung sahod ko ng 2 buwan. O pinayagan pa rin. Boss, kasi kailangan ko aalis kasi may ibubuo akong wall. Sa bayan ko, nalulungkot kasi ko yung pader na namin bayan eh sira. Hingi pang pagawa. Sige. Boss, mapal kasi itira ako doon ng 2 buwan. Wala akong tutulugan. Pagpagawa mo lang ng bahay. Imagine gano'n ka ambisyoso. Maharap na, huwag yung gagawin sa mga nagtatrabaho ngayon na masinasanti kayo. Baka mamaya bukas na gawin niyo. But imagine the kind of mind, imagine the kind of faith na meron si Nehemiah. The reason is, ito ang rason. Sa Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 4. Nehemiah 2 verse 4. Before he even said those words, yun ba, tinwis ko lang ng modern times, pero before he even said those words, bago pa siya sumagot sa king, basahin ka natin, sabay-sabay, ready, begin.
Then he said to me, "What do you request?" So I prayed to the God of heaven.
before he answered to the king, he requested to the King of Kings. Bago pa siya sumiling mismo sa boss niya, matagal na niyang hiniling to sa Diyos. Kaya ganun siya ka-ambisyoso. Kaya ganun siya ka-kumpiyansa. Kaya ganun kataas ang pangarap niya. Kasi in the end of the day, hindi ikaw king ang hinihilingan ko. It's your king. It's the King of Kings. It's the Lord of Lords. Diba? So, ganun ka-ambisyoso si Nehemiah. And hopefully, we find it in ourselves na maging ganun din ka-ambisyoso. Kasi yung Diyos ni Nehemiah, yun din yung Diyos natin. Yung Diyos na kumilos sa buhay ni Nehemiah, yun yung kikilos sa buhay natin. At ito nga reverse ko na nangyari sa Egypt. Di ba sa Egypt, si Pharaoh pinatigas yung puso ng Diyos? Di ba? Pinatigas ng Diyos yung puso ni Pharaoh. Dito pinalambot ng Diyos yung puso ng hari. Yung sino mahari ang papayag nun? Ba? Trabaho mo, maglilib. Tuloy yung sahod. Pagpapagawa mo ng pader, hindi lang siya yung buong bayan niya. Tapos, papagawa mo bahay. Diba? It's only possible because God works in the heart of people. Tumilos ang Diyos sa buhay ni Nehemiah, sa buhay ng people. Ano? So, sana tayo maging ambisyoso tayo? Because, eto, the reason kaya ako naging emotional kanina, this is the story of our life, and this is the story of our church. May video akong ipapakita sa inyo. Bago nyo ito panoorin, I want to kung malaman nyo kung ano itong video na ito. Itong video na ito is during the time, 9 years ago, na kaming church ay walang lugar. Nasa garahe kami ng aming member at nagpe-pray kami ng lupa kasi mukha kaming mga basang sisiyo. Pag umuulan, tigil yung service pag malakas yung ulan kasi nababasa yung mga tao, nababasa yung mga instrument. Kasi nakikitira lang kami, nakikigamit lang kami ng lupa. At matagal na panahon kaming ganito na kaawa-awa at kakabag-babag na yung aming nalagayan. But during this time, ito yung time ng buhay namin na may mga Nehemiah umusbong sa aming simbahan. So pakipakita yung video. So yun yung mga panahon na yung church namin. The walls are broken down. Walang-wala yung aming kalagayan. But I am proud to be part of that time ng church namin. Kaya kung kayo ay may nakikita kapintasan sa inyong simbahan, sa inyong pamilya, that's not a reason to leave. Actually, that's a reason to stay. Kasi yan yung mga time na God is looking for Nehemiahs. And that could be you. And tatawagin ko yung isa naming naging Nehemiah, and you're gonna listen to a real life story of isang taong naging Nehemiah sa aming simbahan. Tawagin ko yung kuya ko, si Kuya Dave.